By the end of this video, I will walk you through my reset weekend in Berlin, focusing on my goal of becoming an entrepreneur. And not only that, I'm going to come back with a 12-week game plan. I have done this annually more or less since I started in the corporate world. In the beginning, it started out as me exploring, going to check out coffee shops, really just a relaxing weekend to reset mentally. And then when I realized that my corporate job was not going to fulfill me the way I thought it would, that's when I began working on some side projects. So in recent years, those weekends have really become about me working on my side projects and taking 3 or 4 days to really figure out what I want for myself. Let me know in the comments if you've ever taken a solo trip before, or maybe you're planning on taking your first one this year. Now this goes back to December when I realized that February would be an excellent month for me to get away. So I decided to take advantage of the overnight train from Paris to Berlin. Spoiler, my train got canceled. I ended up flying. Gotta love Europe and their train strikes. So fast forward to February and I decided to take that 12-week yearbook with me to Berlin. So let's start with why Berlin. It's because of 2 reasons. 1, because it's kind of familiar, I've been there a few times. And 2, I actually know one person living there. I've already visited all the touristy places when I went with my wife years ago. And also they have 2 of my favorite things, coffee shops and vegan food. Also, I have to mention that Berlin has an amazing coffee culture with co-working. So there's a few really good places where I know I can take my laptop in there, have a coffee, and not have to worry about paying an extra fee. So I left with no plans. Literally, I had my best friend ask me, "What are you going to do?" And my answer was, all I know is I'm leaving with this book and I'm going to come back with a game plan. So on Thursday night, I got on the plane and I finished half of the book. I woke up on Friday morning and I headed straight to a coffee shop. Having been so motivated about what I read, I actually immediately started working on my goals. So by the time lunchtime rolled around on day 1, I already had all my goals set. I knew exactly what I was going to go home with as a game plan. I decided to ride that momentum wave and immediately dive in to the projects that I had to work on. So I rewarded myself and took myself out to dinner with my friend as a little treat for an awesome day of work. I carried all those good vibes into day 2. And for me, that meant script writing some of these YouTube videos you may have already seen and the one you're listening to right now. So after 4 hours of writing, I got a little bit of a break, took some air, got some more coffee, and then I ended up diving right back into 4 more hours of work. That was 8 hours in one day, way more than I would ever get on a normal Saturday at home. It is so important to sleep during these reset weekends. And by the way, I actually stayed in a capsule hotel, which I've done before. And for me, it was the perfect environment because there was no way I was going to hang out there all day. I get asked the question all the time why I take these solo trips alone. And if I were going to give somebody 3 reasons to book a trip to reset, I did push my wife once to go to Athens by herself and she can attest she had a fantastic time. A change of environment is so important for everyone. And to do that by yourself, without your spouse, without your friends, it is a little bit different. And spending that time with yourself in a new environment will allow you to see it in a different way. We all know the importance of some alone time, especially if you want to reflect and set goals for yourself. And we all know we can get inspired by changing up the environment a little bit. Now, this is where I actually had the idea to take you along for the ride. So enter day 3. And just like that, it's Sunday. And we're gonna go, it's 8:15, and we're gonna go film the video that would be the preceding video to this video. Main goals, 3 things. 1, find a place that's cute with good lighting. 2, not a lot of noise. And 3, someplace I can put the camera because I don't have a tripod. My own fault. That could work. Let's go check it out. Definitely makes me miss my dog. This is not too bad. Yeah, there's a little bit of wind. I wonder if I could probably block the wind with my backpack. What do I think? Maybe not. I think I'm just gonna go for it because if I don't, I'll never do it. So let's record. Super professional setup. There we go. Looking good. Oh, a tour group is coming. I gotta go. I realize I'm maybe walking in the direction that they are, but I'll just go around the corner. He's talking super loud English, so that doesn't work when you're filming. It's so hard to find a place to film sometimes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a go. Oh my god, I just finished filming that. I hope it turned out good. I look so drained, but I have to film this morning if I want to edit this afternoon so I can publish it tomorrow. Let's go. Okay, So I realized I never checked the sound once. I should probably check that before I go to the coffee shop. Also, the bells. I was like, oh my god, it's 9 a.m. and I finished filming. Honestly, still quite impressive that I managed to film everything in like 45 minutes. I haven't filmed in a minute, so whew. Fantastic. Oh, now to do all the editing. So a friend of mine actually met up with me at the cafe, so I didn't really film much of the afternoon. However, I had such a wonderful afternoon working alongside one of my really good friends here in Berlin and her pup, and then we went for a walk, and honestly, it was really good to get that head break. I've been editing all day. Almost done that video. And then I decided to continue walking. Ended up getting some pizza, which was absolutely fantastic. Seriously, Berlin has some of the best food. And then I said, you know what? It's only 7. I'm gonna go to Starbucks and I'm gonna get 2 more hours of editing in, and I'm almost done the video. I'm so pumped. I'm talking to myself in the middle of the street. People are looking, but I don't give a Now I'm gonna take the metro back. It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna get a good sleep and get up early and get a good work session in before I go back to Paris tomorrow night. See you tomorrow. All right, so it is Monday and my last day of my 4-day reset here in Berlin. It is definitely raining outside. I wanted to explain what my objectives are for the day before I get on my plane back. So objective number 1, finish the first video that will have been published before this one. And then objective 2 is to actually start already editing this exact video. And then objective 3, if I can really reach, I will start to create a couple of shorts. It's 8:35. Should get to the coffee shop by 9. I have to leave maybe around 5. So yeah, let's see how much I get done today. All right, it is 11:30 and I'm exporting the first video. Okay, so this is where I realized that in the video that I'm about to publish to drop in a couple hours, I mentioned the Notion template. Great. However, that's not ready. And I also want to have it linked to my newsletter. So, yeah. Okay, so the video is going live in 15 minutes, and I was like, okay, I need food in my stomach, like now. Alright, after a delicious lunch, I'm off to explore a few of my favorite coffee shops here in Berlin. Let's go. Alright, so I had to leave the coffee shop super quick because they actually closed after me being there for 10 minutes, but that's my own fault. However, I will go right across the street because there's another great coffee shop, and I'm a coffee addict, let's say. However, I'm feeling super motivated. I think it's just that momentum that you get from accomplishing things. And I have a few things that I want to do to spruce up my YouTube channel, so I'm going to do that. And then on top of that, people walking by makes me feel so awkward, but I don't give a As day 4 came to an end and I was boarding my flight home, I was so happy that I had actually produced something within just a weekend, which gave me all the more motivation to be able to come home and continue that progress going forward. So on the way home, I just relaxed and watched some Netflix. Now I'm going to give you my 3 tips that I would give anyone to easily have a weekend exactly like I did to reset and work on your goals. So the first one is to actually choose a familiar place where maybe you know 1 or 2 people. This will allow you to not get distracted with anything touristy and actually focus on the reason that you're there, which is to do some self-development. Also, it's so good to take breaks and sometimes get out of your own little bubble. So to have someone to maybe grab a coffee or dinner with would be great, but make sure you don't book all your time with them because that is kind of defeating the purpose. I would definitely recommend researching, however, maybe some restaurants or coffee shops that you would maybe want to go to work at, just so you're not spending time while you're there doing that. And my final tip is to get a small hotel room so you do not spend all of your time in the hotel. All right, that's a wrap. Subscribe for more and see you next week.